So today we're going to go over a few of the vestments that Bishop-elect Parks will be wearing as he approaches for his ordination. And some of them are things he's worn all the time already. So, but one of the first thing a bishop or any priest puts on when they're getting ready to celebrate Mass is their alb. And it comes from the Latin word albus, which means white, okay? And again, we go back to our own baptisms, and each of us called or wore a white garment at our baptism, and that's what this recalls, the newly baptized, that you have put on Christ, and you are to bring this white garment back to God, unstained, your dignity, okay? And so this represents our souls, that we are to keep our souls as clean as possible for God, and that's what the alb represents. It represents that he's clean, and especially in a priest who's about to say Mass. His soul must be very clean and pure so that he can really bring Christ to us through the Mass. So that is the alb. Then we have what we call the dalmatic. This is what a deacon wears, and the year before Father Parks was ordained a priest, he was ordained a transitional deacon, and they spend 1 year getting ready to become a priest, serving in a parish as a deacon. And what the deacons do is, as soon to be Deacon Pronko told you yesterday, was that they serve at the altar, assisting, and for a young man who's about to be ordained the priest the next year, it's really a good on-the-job kind of training. But they wear what is called a dalmatic, and it's different from the chasuble, which you're going to see in a minute, in that it does have sleeves that are more sewn up on the sides. It does come down a little bit shorter, okay, and that's called a dalmatic. And one of the symbolic things I read up on about it is it's a righteousness, that they have to be righteous. They are serving, they are called to bring Christ to others through service, and that's what that represents. So that is the dalmatic, and he'll have that on underneath his chasuble. And what's beautiful about the chasuble, it's one big full piece of material just with the head cut out, or a space for the head, but there's no sleeves. It's very flowing, and some of the research I did, a chasuble is meant to cover the entirety. It's really covering his own personal identification, because when a priest is up saying Mass, you may have heard the words persona Christi, he is Christ. He is taking on Christ, and so his personal identity kind of goes to the wayside, and that's what the chasuble represents. It's covering up his personal identity, and he's putting on the yoke of Christ, okay? And in Scripture, in Matthew, we hear that beautiful Scripture passage, Matthew 30, "For my yoke is easy and my burden light." And that's what the chasuble also represents. He's putting on the yoke of Christ, and he is there to make our burdens light, for us to come to him and give our worries and concerns, and he can take those on and be like Christ and help guide us in our ways of faith. So on the day of his ordination, he's going to wear all three. Like I said, they always put on the alb first. Then he's going to put on the dalmatic, representing his first ordination as a deacon. Then the chasuble, again, representing his ordination into the priesthood, but now also as a bishop, because anytime he says Mass, even as a bishop, he'll be wearing a chasuble. So it kind of represents the journey to this ordination. The previous two ordinations are honored and treasured in this ordination.